On today's video, we're talking about the Acasis 40 gigabyte per second dock, specifically designed for the M4 Mac Mini and the M4 Pro. If you don't know who I am, I'm Cameron. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer, so this dock really elevated my workflow and really helps me out a lot for what I do on an everyday basis. First things first, for the sake of ethics, this video is not paid or sponsored by Acasis, but they did send me this dock for the sake of review, but no money exchanged hands, so all these thoughts and feelings are my own, and they don't get to see this video before it goes out. So without further ado, let's talk about this Acasis dock. If Apple was going to make a dock specifically designed for their M4 Mac Mini and M4 Pro, it would definitely be this. This is the Acasis 40 gigabyte per second dock, specifically designed for the M4 and M4 Pro. This is what comes in the box. Once you open it, they changed the design a little bit. These accessories that the dock comes with used to be on the bottom of the dock, but I guess consumers were complaining that they didn't know that it was inside the box, so they put it right on top. It comes with your power delivery port with the included USB-C cable, comes with your screwdriver and your thermal pads for the NVMe SSD. And it also comes with the included 40 gig per second USB-C cable that plugs in from your port to your Mac Mini. And then of course, as we continue, you will get the dock itself, which is made in an aluminum alloy casing and it's very heavy duty. I think it's about 1.5 pounds. And it looks just like the Mac Mini. So once you put this thing inside, it looks like it's all in one, which is really nice. For ports on the top of the dock, you get your SD card and TF card, which is 4.0 ports, which transfer at up to 312 megabytes per second. On the back, you get your host port, 2 1.3 display ports, and your power delivery port, which is a 30-watt cable, which is included. Then on the front, you get 3 USB-A 10 gig per second ports. Then on the bottom, you get these rubberized feet that keep the dock in place when it's on your desk so it doesn't slide around everywhere. And all in all, the dock is just really easy to hold with this design and the handles on top. I think it's just really nice. In order to put your M4 Mac Mini inside, there are screws, 4 screws on the bottom. You'll take the feet off with these screws, and that's how the Mac Mini will slide inside. Once all 4 screws are loosened, you can take your bottom or take the feet off of the dock. As you can see here, it's a little bit of a struggle for me to take this off. I think it's user error, but that is lined. The feet are lined with a nice little foam padding so it doesn't scratch the Mac Mini. And putting this back on, again, I think this was a user error, but I had a hard time. I don't know why, but this was kind of tricky to get it back on. I thought it was magnetic, but I got the one with only one NVMe SSD inside, so maybe this one isn't, but maybe the 2 is. I'm really not sure. And as you can see inside, it is lined with a foam padding as to not scratch the Mac Mini on its alloy body. In order to put this Mac Mini inside, you're going to want to line the fan up with the open grill on the back, and also line that power button up on the Mac Mini with the black power button on the Acasis dock. Yes, the Acasis dock has an included power button, which is easy to navigate and easy to push, because I know a lot of the complaints with the Mac Mini itself is that the power button is on the bottom and hard to get to. On the other side of where the open grill is for airflow, you have your space to input your NVMe SSD. Now, again, user error probably, but this was really hard to take off. But once you get inside, like I said, this one that I got from Acasis only has 1 slot for an NVMe SSD, but they also have one at the same price with 2 NVMe SSD slots. So right now you can take your NVMe SSD and slide it in. I'm using the Samsung Evo 990 Plus, and this is a 4 terabyte. You can use up to 8 terabytes in here. It comes with your thermal pad. You can use other thermal pads if you want, but I just use the included thermal pads that came with it. And it also comes with this little black nub that you can put inside your NVMe SSD and then push it down into the open slot within the casing to lock it in place. This is to ensure the NVMe SSD does not open or slide around anywhere as it's being used. And then after that, you can close it right back up, and then you're pretty much good to go. And this is what the dock looks like once it's inside, once the feet are back on. It looks like it's all one unit. You can't even really tell that it is 2 different units. The color looks just about the exact same, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful to look at. Now with this 40 gig USB-C cable that plugs in from the host port into your Mac Mini, this one I do have a slight qualm with. Now, I do like that it does have a separate USB-C cable. Therefore, if something happens to the USB-C cable, you still have your dock to use. But I don't love how the fact of one is sitting sideways and one is sitting kind of north and south and one is sitting east and west. I feel like that could be room for disaster. But this is your power delivery port. You can plug this in for an extra 30 watts of power delivery. You don't have to use it, but it's included, so I use it. And this is how it looks sitting on the desk, the final product. I think it looks very minimal, very clean, and it's very nice. I just like looking at it, and I was really excited about getting this in. And I love how the SD card reader is on top. It's super easy to use, super easy to plug in, and you're getting decent speeds with this. Now, as I said earlier, the SD and TF card slots read at up to 312 megabytes per second. So, you know, I had to do my Blackmagic test and see how fast it really was. And so with the Blackmagic test, you're getting about 257-ish megabytes per second, and which is, you know, up to 312. So 257 is about right. Now with the internal NVMe SSD, I'm only getting 20 gig per second because I only have the one NVMe SSD slot. But with that, I am getting about 2,700 megabytes per second for write speed and 2,800 for read speed, which is very nice. Now, one of my other qualms with this, I'm not sure if it's just my model or if it's just what I did, if I did something wrong or anything. But one thing I got is the NVMe SSD was ejecting itself and then reconnecting, which, you know, don't love. That is a good way to corrupt your SSDs before you even get started. So as you can see, if you do what I do, a lot of weddings, portraits, a lot of editing, Lightroom, things of that nature, you're going to need a lot of extra ports for SD cards and things like that. And this dock really prioritizes speed, transfer speeds, and really just aesthetics overall. And I really like that about this dock. Now, if you really have a need for speed, then you probably want to go with the 40 gig per second dock that has a dual NVMe SSD slot in it, where you can get up to 40 gigabytes per second with that. With this single SSD slot, I think I'm only getting 20 gig per second, which is fine. I'm still getting magnificent speeds as you saw in the test earlier, but if you want even faster, then you're probably going to want to go with that dock. Now on the Acasis website, they have all that available too. You can look at everything they have available. They have not only docks, but they also have different enclosures that you can go with, which you can get, I think, 40 and even up to 80 gig per second. But if you are looking for a dock for your Mac Mini that is going to give you extra ports, that is going to prioritize speed, 10 gig per second USB ports, that is going to prioritize connectivity with the display ports, and it's going to give you an extra 30 watt power delivery, and is going to have a USB-C cable that's not attached to the dock itself, then I think this is definitely one that you're going to want to look at. If not just outright buy, just look at. Originally it's $200. I think right now it's on sale for about $143 on their website. So I think at the price point that it is, it's a steal. So thank you to Acasis for sending this over. I really think this is going to elevate your workflow if you are someone like me who is on their desktop a lot. And so yeah, go check it out. Link is down in the description below. With that being said, thank you for tuning in to today's video. Until next time, I'ma holler at y'all. Like and subscribe. Let me throw that plug in there. Like and subscribe. But until next time, peace.